So I'm sitting outside of the doctor's office right now, and I'm about to go in and get my pregnancy test done. So crazy. I cannot even believe we're at this point already. I feel like this has gone by so fast, and I'm feeling all of the emotions that I can possibly feel. Nervous, I'm excited, I'm hopeful, I'm anxious, I'm worried. I'm trying not to get my hopes up, but at the same time, I don't want to be pessimistic about it. Okay, all done. So now we just wait, and we will know today if we're pregnant, which is so crazy. I'm trying to think back to the previous times. I really don't remember any of the times before, but I do remember the last time and getting the call when we found out we were pregnant with Gunnar, because our doctor actually called me himself to give us the good news. And I know it was like early afternoon, because I remember like taking my lunch break at that time, but it's possible that they even knew like way before that. I don't know how quickly they're gonna get the results, but I mean, obviously we'll know today, and I'm just like going to be a nervous wreck until I get that call. Hello?
Denae?
Yes.
Hi, this is Jennifer at Dr. Straub's office.
Hey.
Hi, I have your results. Do you have a minute to go over them?
Yes.
Alright, so unfortunately I don't have good news for you today.
Okay.
I wish I could say differently. The test is negative today.
Okay.
So as far as your next steps go, you can stop your medications, at least the patches and the progesterone injection. You can stay on baby aspirin, or not baby aspirin, sorry, prenatal vitamins.
Okay.
Are fine.
Okay.
And then the next step will be to schedule some time for you to talk with Dr. Straub to go over the cycle and plan moving forward if we're going to do anything differently.
Okay.
So forth.
Okay.
Okay. Do you want to call us back to schedule, or do you want me to have Kim or Mickey give you a call?
Yeah, they can just give me a call.
Okay. I will let them know, and if you need anything before then, just give us a call.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Bye.
Hi. It's been a few days since I left you guys. I know I left things rather abruptly, but I'm sure you guys can understand. Obviously not the news that we were hoping for. To be honest, I was quite shocked. We've had some time to process things, and I'll be honest with you guys, like, this has been hard. This one has definitely been a struggle for me, and I think there's just a lot of reasons why, but this one has definitely been difficult. And I still have moments where I just cry because I'm just in complete shock. I honestly thought that I was pregnant. I had physical symptoms, which I'm gonna share with you here in a moment. And I just felt in my heart that I was pregnant, and I'm still in disbelief. I knew that there was a strong possibility that we might not be. You know, we've been told no more times than we've been told yes during this process, but I just truly thought that we were pregnant. I really, really did. So I was trying not to get my hopes up, but at the same time, like, I really thought that I was. So it really took me by surprise. It took us both by surprise, actually. But anyways, I wanted to come on here and give you guys a little bit of an update. I did just have a phone call with my doctor, and we just kind of went over everything from this last round and talked about where we go from here. So I'm going to update you on that as well. But let me share with you really quick some of the symptoms that I was feeling. I wasn't sure that I was going to record this information because I just didn't know if it was necessary. But then I realized, like, if this round didn't work, I want to have something to look back at and compare for next time, and also just be able to share with you guys, because these were legit pregnancy-like symptoms. The unfortunate thing is that a lot of the medications that you're on, especially the progesterone and the estradiol, will mimic pregnancy symptoms. And so it's hard to know what's real. I mean, they're real symptoms. Like, you are really feeling them and going through all of these things. You're not just making it up in your head. But it's hard to know if it's like really pregnancy or if it's just the medications. And obviously for me, it was just the meds. So I really didn't start feeling any symptoms until I was 2 days post-transfer. And that day I felt just some dull cramping and then some gassiness. 3 days post-transfer, I had nausea that afternoon. Chris was out of town for work. And around 4 o'clock, all of a sudden I had this like wave of nausea come over me. And I remember telling Gunnar, I was like, buddy, mommy does not feel good. So we sat on the couch and he kind of just like cuddled with me, and I just nibbled on some saltine crackers and drank some Sprite. It finally went away after a couple of hours, and then it came back again that night right before I went to bed. And then again, like, the gassiness just kind of carried on throughout the entire time, which I guess is pretty normal. 4 days post-transfer, I had some light, like, dull cramping and then some tightness as well. And then 5 days post-transfer, again, I had that dull cramping, but I started feeling twinges on the left side and some pressure on the left side. And then 6 days post-transfer, I woke up with that same pressure on my left side. I was up all night peeing. And that day I just felt really blah. I had a lot of bloating and it just felt like icky. Not sick icky, just like, ugh, you know. And then 7 days post-transfer, I again had those twinges on the left side. I had really bad lower back pain. I normally have like regular back pain every day. It's just something that I live with and deal with on a daily basis. This was different. It was so different and it was so painful. Again, I had that bloating and that pressure, and I just kept feeling like I had to pee. And it wasn't like UTI feeling of having to pee. It was like I legit felt like I had something pressing down on my bladder and that I had to pee, but I really didn't have to pee. It was so strange. And then I had some mild cramping that day. Nothing like too crazy, but it was a little bit stronger than like the dull, light cramping that I had been feeling prior to that. And then on 8 days post-transfer, I woke up in the middle of the night. I had this like weird pit in my stomach. I don't know, it was so strange. And then I went back to sleep, and that morning I woke up and my stomach just felt really empty, but I wasn't hungry. And then that morning is when I actually started getting hot flashes, which was actually a sign of pregnancy when I was pregnant with Gunnar, which is a strange thing for me to go through because I am normally very cold-blooded. I always have a sweater on or a blanket over me or something. So for me to have hot flashes is like, it's like paranormal activity for me. So I started getting a hot flash and I was like, oh, okay. And then that evening I had nausea again. That was Saturday, and we went out to dinner, and then we came home and we were just like sitting outside hanging out. Gunnar was playing, and all of a sudden like that wave of nausea came over me again, and I was like, I have to go inside and sit down. And so again, I had the Sprite and the crackers and that did eventually go away after I went to bed. And then 9 days post-transfer, again, I had a hot flash that morning, and I felt pretty good that day. And then 10 days post-transfer, I really didn't record any of my symptoms. That was the day of our pregnancy test, and I just had like all sorts of things going through me, adrenaline pumping through my blood, anxiousness, excitement, nervousness. So I really didn't pay a whole lot of attention to that. But then also throughout this entire time since the transfer, I had every day I had a little bit of like discharge, and then my breasts were sore, of course, as well. Some days were worse than others, but obviously that was the progesterone and not pregnancy related. So I talked to my doctor this afternoon, and he went over like everything from my blood test results, and everything was good. I mean, he said on paper everything was way above where like their baseline for everything, where they like to see everything. My uterine lining was really good, my estradiol was way above, progesterone was way above, and he said the embryo thawed really well, the transfer went really well. He was like, on paper, there's no reason why you shouldn't be pregnant. Like we can, there's no explanation as to why you're not pregnant, you know. So he obviously suggested that we do another frozen transfer, which is what we were leaning towards doing anyways. We still have 3 embryos left. I did ask about doing 2 embryos this time instead of 1, and he is still only recommending 1. There's a fly in here. I always thought that if you put 2 in, it increases your chances, and he said it does, but it only increases your chances by 10%. So it's really not that significant, and he said, and if it doesn't work, then you're down 2 embryos, which is something that we have to think about, because honestly, I don't know that I can go through 3 more rounds of this. If this next one doesn't work, I don't even know if I can go through 2 more rounds of this, to be honest. I guess I'll just have to reevaluate at the time, because I just can't keep doing this. There's just a lot of things that we need to think about. Of course, we're going to do another one, but after that, we'll kind of wait and see. Hopefully, that's not even something that we need to think about. Hopefully, this next one is successful. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at with things. I did start my period today, so I could potentially start this cycle. Again, I would have to wait until cycle day 21 to start the Lupron. I don't think that that's going to happen, because I don't think from a financial aspect we'll be ready to do that again. I'm thinking more along the lines of doing it next month or the next cycle. So it's kind of where we're at with things. So I just wanted, oh my gosh, there's a bug, something. It's not a fly, I don't know what it is, fruit fly or something. I just wanted to give you guys an update and just kind of let you know where things are, where our head is at. It's still a lot to take in and think about and consider, and you know, we have Gunnar, and I'm so thankful and blessed to have him, and do not take that for granted one bit. And so maybe we are only meant to have 1 child, I don't know. We are definitely God-fearing people, and this is just something that we need to keep praying about and turning to God to, and just asking for his guidance and strength through this. So thank you guys so much for your support. It really means a lot. It really does. So thank you. And I did not want to do this. I will see you all in my next video.